Oh, yeah, I mean, if Nigel comes back and leads reforms,
Nigel Farage's return to politics, has he really ever left it? I don't think so, is awaited by Anne Widdicombe.
or if he comes back and takes a major part in campaigning for reform, if he does that in a couple of months before the next general election, I mean, I think at that point we just storm ahead because he is much loved in the Red Wall, and people trust him simply because he always says it as it is. He doesn't sort of hedge about and, try and be all things for all men. That's the last thing he is.
Nigel Farage is a bit like a vampire in one of those Peter Cushing films who's there just waiting to keep coming in and out and sucking the life and blood out of the country. He is the one that ensured we got Brexit after decades of campaigning for Brexit. And Brexit is killing Britain. And yet there he is trying to make out that it's nothing to do with him, or the bad bits of it are nothing to do with him. And he can storm in and make things better. And we all know he's going to definitely make things a heck of a lot worse.
Look, obviously, the great unknown of all of this is if this translates into actual votes. Time will tell, but there we go. Look, and now, very keen to get your views on this. A shocking new study has found that Britain's plummeting birth rate will leave us heavily relying on immigration to maintain public services until 2100. Senior Tory Miriam Kate says it's one of the great threats to Western nations. What do you think of it?
Well, for a start, we've been told for a very long time now that there are too many people on Earth. And we were told also, particularly in the 1970s, that we were going to enter this period where there wouldn't be enough employment because people would have much more leisure time. All these predictions are made. So I would take with a pinch of salt 2100, because we don't know what's going to have happened by then. You think how fast the world has moved. That's that side of it. But if you actually look at what's been going on, I mean, since over the last 50 years, over the last 50 years, we've lost 11 million out of the workforce to abortion, people who would now be living and be in the workforce.
This is peak Rosemary's Baby, that film, in case you haven't seen it, moment where Anne Widdicombe is saying that if women hadn't had abortions, we wouldn't have the worker shortage and we wouldn't need the immigration. Wow. I mean, what next?
People are choosing to have smaller families. That's undeniably having an impact. And women are having children much later, which means that the old pattern of having a couple and then maybe a gap and another couple simply doesn't happen anymore.
I don't judge Anne Widdicombe for having no children, but why are GBBs asking someone who didn't have any children about the pattern of how many children people should have? I mean, goodness me, this is bonkers.
It just seems to me like we're only reliant on immigration if we choose to be, if we choose to look at the world that way, and we choose to look at our GDP that way. If we prioritised other things, then we wouldn't be so reliant on immigration. And I wonder at what cost to the desecration of our actual culture and our way of life. We're going to have to be quick, Anne.
It's quite simple. We need immigration because we've got a top-heavy ageing population, the baby boomers, who all had less children because the pill was invented in the 1960s and women were suddenly set free from the kitchen sink. And long may we celebrate that fact.